Welcome to the Baku City Circuit, where free practice for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is about to get underway. This is a technical circuit which will nonetheless see some huge speeds with a near flat-out final sector that's twice the length of Shanghai's back straight. Let's see who can find the right balance in their setup today. Welcome then to all our viewers and of course to Anthony Davidson as well. Now Ant, I wanted to ask you, obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in these sessions, a lot of simulations as well. Is this something the drivers enjoy, or is it just a routine that becomes a chore?
There's nothing routine about driving a Formula 1 car, I can tell you that. 300 kilometers per hour down the straights, 4G through the corners. It's hard to ignore those forces acting on your body. It's lap after lap of hard, exhausting work. You always enjoy driving these cars, it's a real privilege. Although I must say, if you're having a day where you can't get the car to do what you want and it's generally underperforming, then it's a lot harder to stay motivated. But never a chore, no. Even if you're having a tough start to the weekend, at this point you know that if you work hard at it, there's still an opportunity to turn things around.
Congratulations on your success in the invitational event. It might not help you in the championship standings, but it definitely helps to build your reputation.
What's up YouTube land, Zeno Gaming here with the 5th episode of my 2019 Formula 1 career mode. Here today at Azerbaijan for the Baku City Circuit. Tough track, straight circuit, plenty of walls around, very easy to make a mistake. It's going to be an exciting race. We are still looking for our first points. Reliability upgrade won't do much to the performance of the car, and starting to get more comfortable with every race we do at this new game. Finding the limits of these cars are very interesting, to say the least. Got a bit heavy wear on the ICE power unit, so we're going to have to monitor that, especially for a track like Baku. Where it is required, especially from the last corner to turn 3, it's pretty much all performance is based on engine power, so it will be critical to get all these right. So now moving on to practice. Tricky little track. Was feeling quite comfortable with the car early, but as you know, with these street circuits, you take your eye off the ball for 1 minute, you lack concentration for 1 second, and you can put it straight in the wall. As well, this is pretty self-explanatory. Tough track is Baku. That was FP1. This is now FP2, and I was really struggling to beat the qualifying time, and you can see I made a mistake into the last corner, just trying to push as hard as I could for that extra bit of time, and I was overdriving the car, to say the least. Really just pushing way too hard to extract the lap time I wanted, and we end up not being able to pass the qualifying time in FP2. Now in FP3 though, I'd have another run at it, but we only just beat it by 1/10 of a second, so it was very close, unfortunately. So hopefully we have the pace in qualifying to compete to get out of Q1. But anyway, here's David Croft for the introduction to qualifying.
Welcome to qualifying in the Republic of Azerbaijan. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green, and the fight for pole position can get underway. Looking at this field today, Anthony, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the hard tyres and save some of the grippier tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that, and even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
So welcome to qualifying here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix Baku City Circuit. It's really tricky track. like I've been saying, and qualifying is really important for grid position. Obviously not the hardest track to overtake around, quite easy actually. So maybe grid position isn't all too important, but still the higher it is, the better it is for pride, I guess. Anyway, Q1, first lap, we put in a 42.3, which was not bad, but it wasn't great. We only beat Norris, who didn't really put in a representative time. What I did realise about this weekend is the McLaren struggled badly. They had no pace around this track whatsoever. By the way, this is my fastest lap from the qualifying session, as we have a small lock-up in the turn 3. Didn't cost us too much time because we weren't wide at all. And yeah, this was my fastest lap time from qualifying today. Was a decent lap, I have to say. Thought I got pretty much, maybe there was not much left in it. As you will see, coming to turn, probably losing a little bit of time there, slightly wider than what you'd like down to the car section. Got to be fully committed through here. You use all the space. This is probably where I lost a bit of time, just a bit trying to avoid the walls. Probably didn't take the best line through there, but got it through there unscathed. That's the most important bit. Now we're just got to finish the lap off. Really got to open that corner up as much as possible. Just missed that inside curb. Done that beautifully, that corner. Now this is a really important corner because this is where you can make up a lot of lap time. If you get a really good exit out of here, you'll make up a huge amount of lap time. Probably the most important corner on the track for lap time. And now the run to the line, can't do much now at all based on engine power. And Verstappen currently fastest here in Q1. Will we get through to Q2? Yes, we will. 41.6, no, 41.3, I believe, and that put us 11th after Q1. So we're into Q2 for the first time this year. I couldn't believe it that at the time I'd qualified. I was a 41 flat. I did. There you go. Couldn't believe I had qualified through to Q2 at the time, but in the doing so, we've knocked out our teammate Albon, George Russell, and the Williams getting through to Q2 as well. So too Kimi Räikkönen, a lot of first here this weekend, but it's Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault, 17th only, Kubica 18th, and the McLaren's really disappointing result for them, bringing up the back row of the grid. Unbelievable. They just do not have any car pace around this track whatsoever. Now, moving on to Q2, this is our first time to run it in Q2, and it's a 41.6, so we're losing 6/10 from that Q1 time. Here we go in Q2 again. This is our last lap, and turned in a bit earlier. They used a bit of curve, ran out wide, and look at the time, just absolutely falling away. We're up 4/10 heading into turn 15, and that's now just a 1/10 of a second up. So yeah, could have been maybe a few slots higher on the grid. That's going to cost us, but with a 1/10 improvement, we do not improve position, so it's going to be P14 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which is still a decent result. We beat Russell in the Williams. That was important to beat him. So Ricciardo 11th, Weber 12th, Grosjean 13th, we're 14th, and Mr. Russell in 15th. Kimi Räikkönen getting through to Q3 I thought was interesting for the first time. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari qualifying, the only driver to do so on the medium tyre, which is interesting. But here's David Croft for the race introduction.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku City Circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Gasly, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Leclerc, and Lucas Faber, Grosjean, the captain, George Russell, and Albon, Hulkenberg, Kubica, Kevin Magnussen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Lando Norris, Stroll, and Devon Butler starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
Welcome to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We are now starting P12 for this Grand Prix. It's going to start on the medium tyre, go to the... Sorry, the medium tyre, go to the hard tyre. I almost confused myself for soft medium there. Thinking about last year's compounds, looking at that. So yeah, going to start on the medium, go to the hard for this race. Easy one stop. The hard tyres are quite nice on this year's game. I like the hard tyre. I thought it was always... my theory was it was consistent, but consistently crap. So it's going to be an interesting race. P12 was a good spot actually for us. Leclerc there in 90. That's maybe why he's on the medium tyre in qualifying, because he had this grid penalty coming for him. So it's going to be an interesting one. And without further ado, let's get to the race start. So here we go, 5 red lights, and it's go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Decent start actually. The AI pull away a little bit, but not too much, and we're able to go up the inside of Roman Grosjean here. Weber up the inside of Leclerc. Leclerc hasn't got a good start from 9th on the grid. He's already back down to P10. We're alongside with the harsh driver into turn 2, and we're going to just squeeze him out ever so slightly here, and that will be P11 for us after turn 2. Now into Leclerc's slipstream, but not much to do here. Just get on the brakes, protect the front wing, and cars going everywhere. Gasly fighting Ricciardo. Raikkonen's in there. He hasn't had a good start either. He started ahead of Ricciardo. Gasly started from 6th, so he's back to 7th. He was actually out-qualified by Perez, so that's Gasly holding to true form like his real-life self. Weber's actually got ahead of Raikkonen now, and Raikkonen was the one who started in Q3. So that's interesting to see that happen. Actually, I think maybe both cars got to Q3, I can't remember. Anyway. Just a bit follow the leader through this section, not much to do. And just try not lose too much time to the cars ahead. But we are set up to have a good race here on the one-stop strategy today, because we're not all the way at the back, so we can actually from 11th now we can really do some damage and score points really highly in this Grand Prix. Now this is where all the action's going to be today, on this main straight and with DRS. Look at this though, I go through here and I had to lift off and hit the wall. Luckily it didn't damage the car, because that would have been quite catastrophic for the opening lap. As Grosjean now comes, so just got a huge, the dirty air effect was unbelievable through that corner. Normally it's flat, couldn't even, had to lift off, and that was a mental note for
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
So that was a mental note to, if you're following a car through that, lift off. Also down on power unit, as I mentioned before the race, so that's not good. We're gonna, especially around this track, as Raikkonen is now being overtaken by Charles Leclerc. Roman Grosjean's had a great exit out of turn 2, and he's gone now inside of, lost the rear a bit on entry, and now he's fully alongside. We outbrake him, really almost hit the wall, but that manages to maintain P11 for now, as Leclerc now moves past Kimi Raikkonen for P9, as you'd expect in the Ferrari to start getting the move on. He hasn't had the best start to this Grand Prix, but now at the end of lap 2 we are in Raikkonen's slipstream, and the amount you're able to just gain on in the slipstream is unbelievable. We go around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen, and that is job done. Good move there by us to move into P10, and now Leclerc is passing Pierre Gasly for P8, so he's getting a wriggle on in this Grand Prix. As you can see in the bottom there, that's Kevin Magnussen in the pit lane already for Haas. He was a driver who qualified in Q3 and started on the soft tyre, and he's just getting that out the way really early. what I noticed from these drivers is that the soft tyre just did not last, as the Leclerc and Gasly still side by side. And Leclerc finally gets the job done. It took him the whole first sector to get the job done. Now moving to the end of, towards the end of this lap, and Gasly's had a shocking run through turn 15, and he's going to defend it into turn 16. We're going to go underneath him with a much better exit, and the drive is there to pull alongside into this corner. We've got to lift off through here, and we get the job done. Hopefully he's a bit too far back to slipstream us, but the good news for us, he's going into the pit lane anyway, because the soft tyre is really just a qualifying tyre. It seems like on most tracks this year, after 3 or 4 laps the tyre is just gone and the medium tyre is quicker. And as you can see, all the soft drivers are just falling back to us now. Who's Lucas Weber next lap? And we have caught him now. Leclerc's already dispatched of him. This is our turn. We're going to go to the inside this time round, and that is as easy as you like. It's like taking candy off a baby. Really simple. Now next up is Daniel Ricciardo. He's also on the soft tyre. He's been overtaken already by Leclerc. So Leclerc is making great progress now in this race. And here's Perez. Perez is on the soft tyre. He's going into the pit lane. Daniel Ricciardo stays out. So now we're going to have to follow him, and we're going to have a look in the turn 3. Not close enough to make a move into turn 1. Here's Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane now, the race leader. This is Mercedes' chance. They had a front row lockout. Vettel's won the first 3 races, and Leclerc's finished second in 2 of them. So it's Mercedes' chance to get back on top here with a front row start this weekend. And now closing in on Daniel Ricciardo, DRS affected. Moves to the inside, no way through there. So we're going to have to wait until the main straight, unfortunately, to get past Daniel Ricciardo. And he's going to lose a little bit of time because he's just not that quick through this middle part of the lap. Unfortunately, the soft tyre really just, once they go off, they go right off. And it was a good thing that we're not having to use it today, and the 1-stop is such a better strategy, because you just cannot make up the time around here with the 2-stop, because we will not see Ricciardo or any of these other drivers again. The only guys that can make it up are the fast guys at the front. Here's Daniel Ricciardo, easy slipstream and easy move. He will be coming into the pit lane anyway. So as Bottas is now in the pits, Leclerc leads, I'm in second, and I'm 1-stopping. I saw Leclerc, he's on the medium tyre. I assumed at this stage he was 1-stopping. Now moving on to lap 8 here, we've got Lewis Hamilton closing up behind us. So Hamilton in a much faster car has closed right up. He's currently got that fast lap of the race. He's once again on the soft tyre, so he's on a 2-stopper today. And it's interesting he's gone for that tyre. So really bold strategy by Mercedes to put him on that tyre. As I looked on the, if you look on the minimap, we're not that far behind Charles Leclerc after 8 laps. So I was actually thought I was doing a really good job pace wise. We're about 5 seconds clear of Grosjean, who's our main rival today. And we've got Lewis Hamilton behind us now, as coming into turn 15, he's got a great run on us, but there's not really an overtaking spot down here, but he outbrakes himself. He's into the back of us, and we almost into the wall. Don't know how we've kept it out of the wall. Unbelievable from Lewis Hamilton. You don't see that from the 5-time world champion, making mistakes like that. Absolutely hit us up the rear. And anyway, now he's got a run on us. He's in the slipstream. He will be throwing us into turn 1, but what kind of damage has he done to his front wing? This was his chance to win this Grand Prix, and now with front wing damage, will he be able to? As Leclerc pits, and he is coming in to put on the soft tyre as Charles Leclerc, which I thought was interesting. I don't know why he wouldn't put on the hard tyre to go to the end of the race, but he's obviously going for the 2-stop strategy as well. So Hamilton is right now in the box seat to win this Grand Prix, but with the broken front wing, how much time is that going to cost him? He's passed us for now. I don't mind that. I can save a bit of ERS using DRS here. But now moving 3 laps later on to lap 11, Hamilton hasn't pulled away from us, and his tyres are off now, gone off now. And we've caught him. Well, we haven't caught him. He just hasn't pulled away from us because of the damage to the car. He can't make up the time in the middle sector. And because we have DRS, we're able to stay close in the 3rd sector. And now eventually we get the job done here into turn 1, take the lead back. So we're going to come in at the end of this lap, and we clear Hamilton again, and Vettel is closing all the time, and Hamilton is going to need to make a front wing change. And we now coming through to end lap 12, we're leading this Grand Prix effectively, I might say. at this stage. I doubt we're going to stay there long. We're coming into the pits. Hamilton's into the pits as well for his second stop. He's going to the end of the race, and so is Sebastian Vettel. Vettel also into the pits. Grosjean in the pits as well behind us. So it's a battle between the crews here. But with Hamilton making a front wing change, he's no longer a threat in this Grand Prix to Sebastian Vettel, who jumps him. And Vettel is on course right now to win his 4th race out of 4 to really stamp down his authority on this championship. As now moving on to lap 14, Vettel has caught us now on the fresh medium tyres because they're 2-stopping. They're able to go to the medium. We're on the harder, slower tyre, and it's only a matter of time. Vettel doesn't do the same mistake Hamilton does, and he's a bit more patient. I don't know why Lewis thought he had to try and get through there. It was never going to work. It's not an overtaking place, unfortunately. It really isn't. You might as well wait for this straight. It's so long, you're just going to get past. I could have now defended this position because we are technically leading once Leclerc pits, but I didn't bother because you defend to the inside. He's just gonna look at that. There's no way you can defend that in the Ferrari car. He's too quick. Just I'm gonna hang in there and take as many points as possible. If a podium comes, it comes. At the end of the day, I doubt it comes because Hamilton's coming behind. Leclerc's yet to pit. I'm not sure where Valtteri Bottas is in this race at the minute. He's a long way behind. I think he's in that pack that's coming through turn 2 now. And here goes Lewis Hamilton this time. Oh, sorry, Charles Leclerc's actually behind us. He's come out in between me and Hamilton. He's now making the move for 2nd place. He's on the hard tyre, is Leclerc. So interesting, he didn't go for the medium tyre actually, because he'd already used the medium tyre and the hard tyre, so on the soft tyre. So maybe he didn't have any sets left. I'm not sure why he's gone for that tyre. But anyway, as Hamilton comes again now, but because we have DRS, he's not close enough. Yeah, so like I was saying before, I'm not sure where Bottas is, not sure where the 2 Red Bulls are. They're nowhere to be seen. They aren't able to make up the same difference as these guys ahead because they just don't have the clear air, I guess. So now, lap 18, here goes Lewis Hamilton. Finally gets the job done. And he's now into 3rd place. And at this point, I was just focused on Grosjean. But moving on to lap 23, Bottas has come out of nowhere. He's just absolutely caught us at a rate of knots in that car. So with 3 laps to go now, Valtteri has got the run on us. I didn't think he'd be close enough to make a move in the turn 1, but he was. So down the inside, not much we can do about it. He's just in the quicker car, and that's 4th place gone. So now my focus was on 5th place because Grosjean was closing me in slowly but surely. I know I was starting to make a few mistakes, getting a bit just here and there, just costing me a slight bit of time. But Bottas will now pull away. You can see where Hamilton, Vettel and Leclerc, they've pulled away quite a gap just on the superior car. Now moving on to the end of the lap 24 to start lap 25, you can see how much Bottas has pulled away already. Now Romain Grosjean has caught us. So Grosjean behind in the Haas car, the better power unit, and we defend to the inside here, and I could have defended on this to Bottas, but he just streams past you. Not much we can do about it. We go late on the brakes now. I've got to try and get him into turn 3. I thought that was my only opportunity if I stay close through here, but I've made another mistake, just too deep. I was trying to go through there as quickly as possible rather than just setting it up, because DRS would have done the job for me. I didn't need to go through there like a rate of knots, but we managed to stay within that 1 second barrier. It will be crucial. So I probably put in my best second sector of the race. It won't be there on the timer. I don't think it was there on the timing, but it was very close to being my best sector, middle sector of the race. It might have just put in a brilliant one. Now we've got slipstream. We're using all the DRS that's available to us and DRS open, and we are close enough to make the move on Romain Grosjean. He defends to the inside, we go to the outside, and that is job done into turn 1. We stream past him, as you are able to do at this track so very easily. But now the job is on this last lap to just hit every apex, to just pull enough margin so he can't do the same to me and at the finish line, because it is possible to be beaten at the finish line, as Bottas proved in 2017 when he done it to Lance Stroll. So P5 would be a great result, P6 would be a good result too, but those 2 extra points are, it's really vital to get those, because you don't have these opportunities to finish this high very often. And there you go, we put in our best first sector of the race, but Grosjean's still right there, he's 2/10 behind us. This is an unbelievable race. Hazard Baku, we hit the apex perfectly through there. Got to get this castle section right, and we do. Just going a bit easy. I almost put it in the wall, I think lap 24, 25, one of those laps, can't remember which one. That's why Grosjean caught me a bit quicker. That was a bit of a wake up call. So anyway, moving on to lap, no, I don't know what I'm saying. Coming to the final corner now, and I unfortunately make another mistake here. Not putting it into third gear means the car didn't turn as much, and we carried a little bit too much speed through the corner, and we are out way too wide. And now Romain Grosjean has the run. Can we beat him to the finish line? We're using all the ERS that is left to us, all the fuel that is available to us. And unfortunately for us, Roman is in our slipstream. He pulls out. Will we beat him to the line? No, we won't. Grosjean gets us at the line. Man, that's deflating to do 26 laps and to be beaten at the line. But credit to Grosjean, we had a poor exit there. P6 is still a decent result. It's not P5, but it is what it is.
Ferrari have really pulled it out of the bag today. It's a great win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So 4 from 4 for Sebastian Vettel. He is dominating to start this season. Hamilton did beat Leclerc for second place, so he does take some points to maybe get back in this title fight. He's already about 60 points behind. Leclerc takes third. He's second in the standings at the minute. But no one can touch Sebastian Vettel. He is dominating at the minute. And he wins his 4th straight race. Valtteri Bottas comes home with 4th place. And also the fastest lap. So that's 13 points for Bottas instead of the normal 12. I finished P6. Grosjean 5th. Perez in 7th. Verstappen only could manage P8. Couldn't pass the traffic with that Honda-powered car as easily as the top guys. Raikkonen in 9th place gets his first points of the year, I believe. And George Russell scores a point for Williams. 1 point for George Russell. I didn't even see this when I was driving the race. I've only just spotted that now. Unbelievable. Russell picks up a point for Williams. Their first points of the season. His first point of his career, as is ours. Unbelievable. Kevin Magnussen is the only retirement in this Grand Prix. I believe that was early on. We jump up to 10th place in the driver's standings after that result. But Sebastian Vettel has a 43 point lead over Leclerc, 47 over Bottas. So he's absolutely dominating at this stage. And can anybody stop the Vettel? It's the Vettel show right now. And he's steamrolling. Ferrari have a huge lead in the Constructors' Championship. We jump up to 7th. Every team has now scored a point. So
amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
yeah, well,
You really looked in control of your car.
you have to be happy with
The team
P6
thrilled.
when you haven't scored a point in the first 3 races. So yeah, unbelievable result from the team. So perspective, and
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
I just don't know what to say. With Russell scoring a point, we finished 6th.
Well, that's everything.
And Vettel's dominance just continues in this Grand Prix, as now after the race we managed to outperform Albon in our rivalry to extend our lead over him. But Weber actually and I had the same amount of points this weekend because he did have a quicker race lap than us. Being on the 2-stop strategy, he would have had better tyres towards the end of the race to do that. So we're currently losing our rivalry to Lucas Weber, who is in right now the better car, but I don't think our car is that far off the Sauber car. Sorry, gotta get used to that. Alfa Romeo car, no more is Sauber. So that is picking up pretty decent amount of resource points, but we did have a team objective to qualify 11th or better in either here Baku or the last race at China, which we didn't obviously do. So we actually lost a bit of reputation
Great
to the
work.
team.
That's exactly the kind of result I'm looking for. Keep it up.
Now we have a contract negotiation to do after the 4th race, which I always thought is quite weird.
Here we can adjust the terms of our proposal. The more ambitiously we set our targets, the more willing the team will be to give us better perks. We'll have a few chances to suggest a deal, but we need to be careful. If a proposed contract exceeds your value to the team, it will be rejected, and too many attempts will leave us stuck with the original offer.
Yeah, so I always thought it was quite weird that we do contract negotiations just after your 4th race. Which driver in real life does a contract negotiation after the 4th race? Normally that's something that's done in the off season. Maybe an extension is done in the summer break, but anyway, looking at our value here, I thought this was the best options. Get some extra race bonus resource points, and that was all good.
The new contract will take effect from the next race weekend.
And I was quite happy with that one because it was very close to what our value is. So, and it gives you everything we need. So, not too hard on the expectations. 15th for qualifying, 17th for the race. I probably should flip that. Doesn't matter. Now we have 1,300 resource points to use. We're gonna develop the reliability for the ICE because, as you saw, in the race we had quite high wear in ours currently after 4 races, and we're also gonna go, considering the next race is at Spain and the race after that is Monaco. We're gonna probably should use a downforce update, and we've already done the front wing, so let's bring in a rear downforce update, just a minor one. And if we don't get it for Spain, we'd at least have it for Monaco, which will be quite important knowing the track characteristics for that circuit. So you can see the power unit is 73% on the ICE. The other parts are still probably can do one more race for the turbocharger and the MGUH. So we'll just switch out the ICE for the Spanish Grand Prix. So yeah, that's been the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We've got some updates coming for Spain, which should be good. That engine update is coming from Monaco actually, so some updates in the pipe works for the Toro Rosso car, which will hopefully bring us even closer to that midfield pack. Leave your thoughts and feedback down in the comment section below. Please leave a like on the video, it would mean a lot to me. And subscribe. And if you want to tune in next time for the Spanish Grand Prix, that would be really nice. So see you guys then.